And we have something exciting this week. We have our entire tuning and calibration team
Yeah, we gathered
in-house.
all the engineers for the week. So
There, we have two engineers that work remotely normally, and one at a facility that we've set up in Alabama, and that's dedicated to 034 Motorsport tuning and calibration.
yep.
So, but we got everyone in house this week. Normally, the engineering team works very closely via digital
Yeah,
communication
we
techniques.
meet every day, go over troubles, problems, planning
Yeah,
every morning.
but we're going to bring them on and let them introduce themselves. And I don't know, Steve's pretty tall.
I
Like,
may have to I may have to adjust the camera angle on this
one of that. We'll bring them in one at a time. So.
Well, yeah, let me bring it up here.
Oh my gosh,
I don't know.
I'm not actually 2 feet tall.
Yeah. Oh no, you fit. You're good.
All right,
I plan to
just
call
barely.
You're almost getting tall.
All right, so this is Steve Bloom.
Hi, everybody.
Steve is a good calibrator, but is mostly working on our software infrastructure type products and reverse engineering type projects.
And you probably, a lot of tech support
Yeah.
assist and a lot of the log reviews and that kind of thing have been
Yep.
sitting on Steve's desk.
Steve's been awesome with that. Gives good
Thanks,
customer service. Good
Thanks,
email.
Rod. Thanks, Rod.
So tell us about yourself. Tell us about your experience.
Sure.
We got a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing. I'm a software engineer, so I've been in software development in one way or another for 15 years. I was working for a K-12 school, K-12 company making software for K-12 schools.
It's like managed schools.
Yep, school management software. And in the middle of all of that, I decided to pick up. I got interested in cars.
You had a Ace.
I had a
no,
1.8T
Oh, okay.
Jetta that I had to get tuned to the max. And
Were you one of those people that always ask like if it fits the Jetta too?
it's never that guy. I would find out if it fit the Jetta.
Okay, good. Because whenever we release a new product, all people ask is if it fits the Jetta.
At the Jetta.
Yeah.
Generally, no.
So,
It's a total-
no, I got started by, starting to tune those. Just understand, I bought tunes from other tuners for my car. Felt like, I could do it a little bit better or figure out how it worked in the first place. So got into data logging cars, and then from there, I built my own data logger. I continued to tune and basically, do it on the side while I was doing my 9 to 5, and then I would do that at night. And I'm sure the wife and family were totally happy about how much time I spent doing that kind of stuff. So,
a good thing you did.
it led me to this. That's true, and I love every second of it. I also love that I'm doing it now on a professional level, and I don't have to do it off hours anymore. Now I can sit and relax and be with my family, and it's just a great all around opportunity. And everybody at 034 has been awesome to work with, and I'm just happy to be here. And so I'm actually remote,
Yes,
right?
you are.
I'm from Wisconsin, so what's that?
You didn't even bring cheese this time.
No cheese
Curd.
curds.
Send you back to go.
Yep.
Eric brought
Usually-
that smoked pig though, right?
Yeah, it's still buried.
This trip out, I came out with my family and we did some San Francisco sightseeing. So I actually just got back into Fremont this morning. So I'm just happy to be back in the office and get to butt heads with Nate a little bit more while I'm in here. And
I know what you are.
I currently drive a B8 S4.
Perfect.
Yep, with a correct transmission in it. It may be
got the
slower
manual,
from
yes.
on a quarter mile, but it's still 6-speed. So I'm holding on to that. I also have a Tiguan. I just sold a C5 all road, which I'll miss
That's what I was
kind
thinking.
of,
You had
but
it
not
all,
really.
yeah.
And then my 1.8T Jetta that I sold for my B8. So that's pretty much been my
What about your
Audis.
Atlas?
I've got an Atlas.
There you go.
That's
There you go.
the wife's
You
Atlas.
guys are Atlas buddies. Okay.
No, I got a Touareg.
Close.
Yeah. What else
Good.
do you want to know
Thank
about?
you, Steve. No, it's been incredible to have Steve on staff, a professional software developer.
Yep.
You know, we've strived to hire professional industry staff in every position whenever we can, and you know, a lot of times in this industry, everyone kind of comes from being an enthusiast, and then they figure out the professional thing that they're supposed to do, which is kind of how Nate and I started,
Yeah.
ironically.
It
But
shows sometimes.
So I'm teaching them some professional level things.
that's right. But Steve,
Teaching them how to be professional.
it's true. No, I mean, Steve, you were managing what, like 15, 20 developers at one point?
In one fashion or another, probably never that much. I was stuck somewhere in middle management, and that was the reason why I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, but Steve knows the right way to develop software using the right processes with the right documentation and building the software structure in a way that's scalable and reliable and robust for the future. So it's been a pleasure to have you. And he's an enthusiast, and he drives a B8, which you spent a lot of time supporting B8 customers. Who are
I really got more heavily into tuning in my own side business with my B8. It really took off once I got into the B8. So I learned how to tune the B8 myself, then came on board with 034, realized that what Nate had done is a lot better than what I did.
now you're just trying to butter up.
Yeah,
No, but we're not surprised. Nate is an incredible tuner. So. And thank you for making Nate seem kind of short.
Yeah, right. Well, someone is asking if you're actually two people in that
Normally Nate's like the tallest guy around. All right. Well, thank you, Steve. We appreciate it, and we love having you here.
Yep.
If anyone wants to ask, any follow-up questions, we can keep it going.
Ask Steve a question.
All right. Thank you. All right. Nick. All right. Nick Scandalory. Come on in, Nick.
Sure.
This is Nick Scandalory.
Morning, all.
And Nick, you joined us in November, December?
Yeah.
I think it was like late November, right?
Yeah.
I started November 2nd.
It seems like it's been
not late November.
It's been forever.
So the pandemic thing is throwing my calendars all the whack.
But yes, Nick is a calibrator.
Yep.
And Nick has a rich background of tuning and calibration, and not necessarily with OEM ECUs. And so when we brought you on, you knew how to tune and calibrate. You just had to learn the ins and outs of interacting in the Bosch or CMOS environment, and you've been doing that. And so Nick is actually almost solely responsible for our B8 A4 2.0T stage 1 calibration that we released recently. That's been selling very well, and ran a very fast time, and also we're running full E85.
Yeah.
Who knew? Everyone thought that you couldn't
And
do
we
it.
were
So.
hunting it on track this past weekend.
Yeah.
Or last Friday.
I'm a big fan of E85.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we can run it,
E85 for the masses.
we're going to run it in every.
Yep.
So Nick sorted that out for us, and it's wonderful. It used to be just Nate and I, and mostly Nate doing calibrations, and now Nate can train someone like Nick, and then he can go off and do it. So it's incredible. So tell us about your background and how you kind of came into
Sure.
the industry.
Yeah. So my professional background is IT. I spent 12 years in professional IT atmosphere.
So printers.
Printers, yeah, just dot matrix printers.
I think it's most of the tuning industry is like, hey, I know a little bit about computers. Let me mess with this one in the
Yeah,
car.
exactly. And then I always had hobbies. I like to tinker with things, and just like anything else, cars were an easy platform to tinker with.
Yeah.
And Audis, I started with a B5 S4, 2006 or 7, long time ago, and just had a bunch.
That was your first Audi? Okay.
That was my first Audi.
Okay.
Yep. My parents actually got the bug for me. They got a B5 A4 brand new, 1999, 2.8.
Drive by cable.
Yeah, drive by cable, 2.8.
The
And
2.8.
and that's what started. Yeah, exactly.
99, yeah, that would have been 30 valves, so yeah.
30 valve. Yep. Santorin blue.
Yeah.
And then I got a B5 S4, and then, but prior to that, I was tuning I had Ford Probes, and I put Scandalone in them, and I was
nice.
tuning. It was always a hobby, and I was always tinkering with stuff.
Was that like actually a Mazda?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why it was so cool.
Mazda MX-6 and 626, they all
Seemed
share
like
the same.
too refined of a sports sedan
To be a
to be a
Ford.
Ford at the time, especially.
Yeah, they're pretty neat cars.
Yeah,
I keep my eye out for another one.
They're they're gone.
Just to add more.
Right, like not
I
in the
haven't
roads.
seen one.
Right.
They're just
20 years.
yeah, they've all been parted out or whatever.
Yeah, they rusted, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. But yeah, and then
You got a 200 at some point because ever since I've known you or of you, you've been pushing the 200.
yeah, so that's kind of what really I became a customer of 034 with the B5, kind of engine mounts, just little trinkets like that at the time. But when I got the 200, I dug into Motor Geek, and
That's right.
I jumped right in with the 200 and did a big brake kit that no one had ever. I used B5 S4 brakes on the 200, and it like changed
Yeah, yeah.
because UFOs are terrible and
They are.
impossible to replace. So I had a B5 S4 that was my daily, or that was my like summer car, and I bought the 200 to be my winter car. Quickly that changed, and it's my baby now. But the I had parts laying around from the B5, and I'm like, I'm gonna make them work. On the
And
200.
those calipers are plentiful because everyone would take them off the B5.
They throw them out exactly. So made them work on the 200, and
It's a nice caliper for that era. You know,
Sure.
for the 80s,
Yeah.
90s era Audi, it's a
Well, especially compared
really
to
big
the
caliper.
esoteric UFO that
Yeah.
had no support. And
Right.
Right.
And if we might have to explain what a UFO rotor is, but
I wish
Look,
we had
looks like
Audi,
a
Audi took a tangent on brake theory, and
It's a really good idea, actually.
yeah, they wanted to increase the pad area, or the lever arm on a brake rotor, but they didn't have room to put a caliper further out because there was like 15-inch
Yeah.
wheels,
Instead of
16-inch
putting bigger
at the
wheels
time.
on, which they should.
So they took the hat of the caliper, wrapped it all the way, or hat of the rotor, wrapped it all the way around to the outside of the rotor, and then the caliper and pad lived on the inside.
So the rotor ring is mounted from the outside of the rotor instead of the inside of the rotor, like normal.
Yeah.
So it actually, they were able to put a much bigger rotor, but the problem is it was like basically a stamped or formed steel housing that supported the outside of the rotor, and it just would warp.
It warped like mad. Yeah.
It's just, you know, it might have been okay if you were just piddling around town, but if you got,
when I bought the
they actually recalled them and took them all off.
they
Yeah,
put
they went back to
G60s on a lot of 91s.
Yeah.
My car had the UFOs on them. They were shot.
Yeah.
I drove it from Burlington, Vermont, back to
There used to be somebody who figured out how to like
surface.
surface them and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Try to straighten them. So, anyways, you got into that, and you did like a burnout on some video, and it got super famous, right? That was
launch,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, you did a really cool launch.
So I guess just prior to that, I did maintenance on the 200, and then one winter I broke the transmission, snapped the input shaft clean, and I took
Oh,
it
the
apart.
6.
In the 016, yeah. So I got a replacement 016, and I put a 034 supplied K26 GT 3076.
Right.
And that made the car famous. I tuned it on E85, obviously.
Yeah.
Standalone, and just kind of minor bolt-ons. And I eventually would post a video that went viral, essentially, whatever you want to consider viral.
It got really famous.
It's getting close to 3 million views at this
my
point.
God.
Of course, it's 8 years.
That's insane, though. No,
It's
that's
still
a
huge,
lot.
yeah.
For Audi stuff, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it,
I mean, if it was a puppy or something, that would be understandable.
Sure, yeah, and the clip's been stolen, numerous times for montage.
I've seen it in all these other videos. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so and at the time it was maybe 350 horsepower, but
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
to destroy
Still a
4
lot,
tires on
yeah.
the road, and it made a pretty epic video. Yeah.
So how did you come out of IT into tuning and calibration?
Well, it was actually my wife to thank. She got a promotion at her job, which moved us,
Yeah.
and it gave me an opportunity. Now I'd done IT for 12 years. I was happy doing, working 9 to 5, had a solid income, but it was a good opportunity for me to explore my hobbies and,
Sure.
and move
Outside.
into a different,
Yeah.
a different career path. And I took
outside of like just restarting computers to fix them all day.
exactly.
But pretty much like 90% of the
Where
time, you just
is the any key?
Yeah.
Just got to tell everyone where the any key is.
It solves so many questions.
So yeah, my wife got relocated with work to the Southwest, and we could have chose a couple different states. Long story short, a longtime friend of mine, Hank Iros, hired me to work at Iros Motorsport, and he made a position that didn't exist and hired me on, and I moved from IT to the motorsport world.
And you started tuning some of the most powerful, RS3s around.
That's correct. Yeah, exactly.
And so your specialty, which you really learned about tuning and calibration, was through tuning these standalones. The whatchamacallit. What's the
Cyvex?
The Cyvex, right?
But I've tuned,
You've tuned VEMs
many,
and lots of different standalones.
Exactly. Yeah, I have Mega Square on my Grom.
Big Grom fan.
So lots of standalone action, and in between, I did some. I guess I tuned a big turbo. I owned a 1.8T B5A4.
Some of the earlier Motronic stuff
Yep.
you were doing.
ME7, I've got a pretty decent
ME7,
grasp on, and I've got a supercharged 2.8,
Right.
the Avant, which Nick's a big fan of. Nick's a real big fan of the 2-point
With
grade.
the PES.
It's got a
supercharger.
PES supercharger, and I did my own custom E85 tuning.
Yeah.
And it put down 300 wheel on 034's dyno,
Nice.
which
That's
is
great. That's fast.
297 for the people that are they don't like the
you
rounding up.
round it up.
That's right, 297. So yeah,
Cool. And then we talked last year, and you decided to make the move, and we're really blessed and happy that you're here. And,
Yep.
And you're a great fit, not only technically but just culturally too. It's been great to have you here and everything.
feelings
so.
mutual. Yeah,
Cool.
it's a great place to be.
Well, thank you very much, Nick.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah, if anyone has any follow-ups for Nick, go ahead and put them in. And all right, and let's get Eric. This is Eric Ernest. Welcome.
Our
Yes, sir.
most recent edition.
Yeah, well, Eric started in December too.
Yep.
We
Shortly after Nick.
made a pretty concerted hiring effort second part of last year, and brought on some new staff, and we hope to be doing that again this year to continue to expand the team, because the results we've been getting have been so phenomenal.
Yep.
But Eric, you could probably talk for several hours about all your experience in the industry. Eric's been around for a while, but why don't you give us a quick synopsis?
Oh man.
And go back. You have some pretty cool
Yeah.
previous training in college.
Yeah, I'll
education
go
as
back
well.
and do some college stuff. So I was originally becoming an orthodontist, and so I was going to take in chemistry and biology and stuff, and I just kept getting sucked into the physics lab, and my physics professor kept telling me, Eric, you gotta go to physics, like you love it, it's so much fun, and so I finally was spending so much time like tinkering on cars, making parts. I was making intake manifolds back in the day for first gen Dodge Deons. If any of you guys know about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
But high end stuff. But I was broke. My parents had a Dodge dealership, so it was the cheapest car I could get that I could modify. And so I started working on that, and I had a standalone SDS EFI on that.
Oh, SDS,
Nice.
yeah, that was a
Which-
big competitor before you.
Yep.
And then had through college, just had a bunch of buddies that had cars, Subarus and whatnot. So I started tuning stock ECU stuff then, and a couple Scandalory Hydro Nemesis, which was a California-based tuning
Hydro
company.
was big, yeah.
And then
Subarus.
forayed into Mega Squirts and DTA Fast and Motex and Haltex and everything I could get my hands on. And of course, it was just snowballed the amount of work that you had to do. And
Right.
so got through school, and I converted and got a degree in applied physics and then mathematics as well. And then I wanted to go into race engineering and do race car stuff. And most people with physics degrees end up doing lab work. So some electron microscope stuff isn't necessarily
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
get me out of bed in the morning, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I've kind of made a mistake. I really want to work on race cars and do this stuff. So I looked around and found a guy who had gone to Western Washington's Vehicle Research Institute and went there and did their Formula SAE program. So we competed in 2008 in West. We did really well. Forgot what we placed, like I think 8th. But we built a carbon fiber monocoque Formula SAE car, 4-pot, did a DTA fast management system in it with traction control, and learned a lot more about powertrain, engines, composites, CNC machining, manufacturing. That really helped out. And then after that, I got a job working for PACCAR, which was Peterbilt Kenworth trucks. So I did OE calibration for that and their engine dynos. So I did engine development with them for, had to be 4 years. And slowly transitioned out of doing just engine dyno development work. They had a really, really nice AC dyno setup. and then got into more software development, which was writing the code that the ECU operates. So I got in charge of a couple different modules, and I was late. I'm habitually late, for those who don't know. I showed up late. I showed up late to a
We've
meeting.
picked up on that.
I showed up late to a meeting, and the meeting was to determine what modules everybody was going to get from the new ECU. And everyone else didn't like tuning PIDs. And so I got stuck with like 7 or 8 modules that were all PID stuff, which ended up being a strong suit because now I'm great at it. But
and that's a really important
It's a very
element of controlling any system.
everything closed loop is all PID based. So I got stuck with that, and that was a great learning curve, and got to learn a lot about how we, how that's forward engineered from the compiling and how we do development work and C code, and how the calibration process goes, and releasing products for OE.
So being late can have advantages.
Yeah. It can turn out in your favor with more work that's better for you. So it stretches your stuff. So, I left there, I worked at a CNC shop. It was an aerospace. I had a former SA buddy who got me a job there as a project manager because I thought I wanted to try something different. And aerospace was awesome. We got to work on some sweet projects, defense projects, military projects. I won't really name what they are, but they're super cool. But still, despite being super cool, it wasn't my interest. I was still trying to go to the racetrack. I had an Evo at the time, which I've wasted numerous hours and countless amount of money. Don't tell my wife.
never add up the receipts.
So I just kept after doing the car stuff and kept doing fabrication and kept tuning cars. I eventually got hired back at PACCAR because all those PID modules I wrote the software for, they were going to release a product, and they were like, we don't have anybody who can do this stuff. You know it really well. Can you just come back? So I came back for a contract stint, and that worked really well. And while I was there, one of the guys pointed me and said, I got some people that want to do some OE calibration, so performance stuff. So it was right down my alley, kind of led to that. And so I've done, OE ECU calibration for like the past 9 years. And I've got a pretty wide swath of experience between all the Bosch ECUs, all the Continental ECUs. So I've done burn that bridge pretty well. So I've got a lot of experience in the OE ECU too, especially the Bosch stuff. I like that. The Bosch Continental strategies are pretty similar as far as they were, and it makes sense. Like I was talking to Nate about this, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it long term. The customer Audi or Volkswagen is going to give a requirement to Bosch or Siemens and say, hey, this is what we need our ECU to do. And if you give 2 people the same problem, they're going to come up with similar solutions.
It's really close on some of them.
Their naming nomenclature is different, and how they structure things is different. But in the general gist, there's only so many different ways to skin that cat. So
Eric was pretty much solely responsible for our recent B9 3.0T calibration, and he's working on our 2.9 RS5 calibration as well. And Eric has a shop in Alabama that we've helped him set up, and so it's sort of like a second tuning facility that you run and work at, and you also live there.
Pretty awesome setup.
Right. Just roll out of bed into the dyno.
Yeah, but there's just not a lot of guys like Eric just hanging out in Home Depot parking lots. So we had to get a little creative, but it's been an incredible partnership really so far, and you've done some great work, and I know there's lots of people watching this who are really enjoying the fruits of that labor right now.
Lots more coming,
and it's not anywhere near done. We have a lot more plans.
And I'll say this to customers too. It's great to hear the feedback from you guys, because we do hear it as the calibrators. We hear it quite a bit in all the emails that get sent in. So Nick does a great job of relaying that information, so we know changes you want, things you don't like, things you do like. I'd say that's a huge benefit for us.
We know about the crackles.
Yeah, we know about the crackles. Sorry,
we'll have more crackles. Don't worry.
There's been some sleepless nights for that one.
And I mean, Eric and Nick and Steve and Nate and obviously all of us, we care about people being happy, and we want people to be happy, right? So that's a big rewarding element for you, is to get that positive feedback. And I've seen you respond really enthusiastically to when people are happy, and I've also seen you respond energetically when there's been issues.
Well, my perspective of that is, I love modifying cars, engines, boats. We'll get there, but
Oh no,
I like modifying everything. If I can modify my lawnmower and turbo,
Chris Green,
I'd love it. I'd love it. Yeah, Chris Green, good job, buddy. But no, I would say that I love modifying cars, and I think it's a great experience. And we have this opportunity to share what we love with other people, and I want them to have a great experience, right?
Yeah,
And
it's supposed
have-
to be fun.
and have their and it's supposed to be a fun experience
Yeah.
that's without problem. And they just because they're really timid, they want to modify their $50,000 car.
Yeah.
And they go out and they do that. I want to have them a great experience. So they come back and they realize that, hey, there's a whole world of this. We can go further. We can go deeper. We can modify more cars. And then they can have a great experience they can share with their family, right?
Yeah.
When your mother-in-law can drive your car, your wife can drive your car. And, maybe they don't know, maybe they do know, whatever. You spray paint the part black, take off the logos.
Yep.
Keep
the logo.
ship it to your friend and then have it bring it over to your house. Whatever you come up with, special PayPal account that you need to figure it out. But I want people that enjoy cars the way that I enjoy cars, and I feel like that's my responsibility to make sure I provide that to you guys.
You want people to be safe.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay.
Be safe and be happy, and
everything we do is for safety.
Right.
Yep. Because you have to be able to look your mother-in-law in the eye and say, I'm gonna tune my other car, and she's got to be like, yeah.
She
seems
asks
like a reasonable
about it,
good
you
idea.
say it's for safety.
Yeah.
Accelerate away from the danger. That's what
Yeah, there are some on ramps that I've experienced that you could use more horsepower on.
Yes,
with
definitely.
especially around here.
Yeah, the short flow reliefs. Yep, same one.
Well, it's been an honor and a thrill to work with you, Eric. I've known you and of you for a long time, and for me professionally, it's a dream come true to be able to assemble a team and work with a team of calibrators and engineers of this caliber and quality. So no, it's professionally I know for Nate and I mean,
Oh man,
Yeah.
Nate and I literally started
having-
with nothing.
You guys
know,
has been just
Yeah, it's been phenomenal to see the
life
amount
and changing.
the amount of things that Nate has to cover and the breadth of what he knows is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's the thing is we try not to take shortcuts, and those are very long paths if you're not taking a shortcut. So
but you've unloaded workload onto 3 other unique individuals who are specialized in each one of those things, and you can swing a bat in all those arenas. So that's very, very impressive coming in here and seeing that.
Yeah.
You did a great job setting it up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, for us, our dream is manifest in having staff and guys like you to work with, to partner with. So we're just, extremely lucky to be able to release these type of products and get this kind of feedback. So
Yep.
Thanks to all the engineers who joined us this morning. And thank you for sharing.
People want to meet Nate.
Meet Nate.
Include him.
Yes.
man.
I mean, I figure
I think
people
we did
have
this-
met him
yeah, but-
and you've talked quite a bit, but
Been
yeah.
on topic.
Yeah. So we'll
So why don't
wrap up
you talk for the next 5
the,
minutes?
the tuner and software guys. So yeah, I guess you could say I was trained or formally educated in computer science. Was what I went to school for, and I kind of really enjoyed some of my EE classes where you're in essentially designing embedded systems and kind of doing things that way. And then I left school, didn't really have any avenue to apply that. Ended up in similar to Nick. I was in basically an IT role for a while outside of that, doing pharmaceutical data systems. And it got really boring because I ended up being okay at my job there and fixed them. And then there wasn't anything more to fix. So I kind of sat
was
in my
great.
office.
Then
I started Motor Geek. It was
Yeah.
a forum that got pretty popular early 2000s.
Well, you and I, so Nate was actually like
And then I was
one of the
just-
first customers for
Yeah, I was like
034
customer 2 or 3
Yeah.
for the original standalone.
And it was a huge blessing for me because Nate immediately started documenting
Yep.
all aspects of installing and tuning. And then Nate created this little website that I would actually refer. It was just me. I was just trying to do tech support on my own. And so I started utilizing some of Nate's resources
Yep.
that he created.
Did a bunch of, documentation, how-tos, guides.
So then we started talking, and he was like, "Hey, why don't I start a forum?" Which was a really kind of a new thing at that time that we can use to support, and I'll help you.
Yeah, because Javad and I met in the 90s on the
On
Quattro
Quattro
list as a
list,
mailing
yeah.
list.
Mhm.
So yeah,
It's an email list,
We've been talking for a very long time, but yeah. So when the standalone when 034 EFI came out, that's when I really kind of
Yeah.
got more formally introduced to Javad and
Mhm.
and years progressed. I was really bored and living in Maine.
Yeah, I came out for Waterfest one year,
Yep.
and
I
we
brought
hung out.
my twin turbo Audi
V8,
90
yeah, 3.6
yeah,
V8.
V8 at 90 down with the standalone on it.
But then pretty soon, we were both on Motor Geek. Motor Geek blew up.
Yeah,
and
yeah, we were swatting questions left and right. There were all these
because
crazy
you
builds.
started
all of a
Motor Geek
sudden.
in what, like 03, 04 maybe?
I want to say it might have been even earlier than that, 2002, probably 2002, 2003. something
Yeah,
like
because I started
It was
selling those.
right,
I'm like,
right when you started going
Yeah.
like full time. Because I had the original like supplemental controller, like
yeah,
the
you did.
old-
That,
the
well, that's
old-
what everyone started
Yeah.
with, and then I upgraded all those people with
To the-
the fuel only
yeah.
unit, and then we added ignition to it.
Yeah, because I initially did it on a 10 valve turbo, and then
Mhm.
so yeah, we just were chatting more and more, and said, why don't we try?
Yeah, so in 05,
something
you
over here, yep.
you came out to visit.
I came out for the 1.8T. Well, I ended up out here. Yeah, the week before. I think it was the 1.8T challenge. We were getting
it
Christian's
was,
car ready.
it was for Dub Wars.
Okay, or double. Well, I don't know what it was. I just know I came out here and then ended up with my head underneath the Jetta for a week.
And I was like, hey, since you're here, why don't you get under this car and
Yeah.
see if you can get it running?
Yeah, so I ended up
And you did.
fabricating
It was great.
and
And then we
wrenching
went
it.
to Dub Wars, and I think the car put down like 480 wheel,
It
which
was
is
something
like
ridiculous for the
one of the
time.
highest horsepower 180s in the
It was
country.
like a 35R or something.
Yeah, we had a 30R.
30R.
And so then we just started, and we had a booth and stuff, and
Yep.
so then we started talking really seriously about you moving out. And,
Yep.
and I had just started the business, and I wasn't even paying myself, and
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
I
it was-
offered
it
you
was
like $300 a week. or something.
winging a prayer at that point. So it was.
And you maxed out a bunch of credit
Oh, yeah.
cards, and you came out,
Yep.
and
Yep.
And the rest is
Loaded
history.
everything into a Penske truck and
know for
vehicle included. Actually, I got mine. Or no, we actually had Alex's. Well, we had
You had a
two
couple,
red
yeah.
Audi 90s that we towed out. One in the truck, one behind it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome.
And for the first week, Nate was there. I was like, "Hey, can you like ship some packages?"
Oh yeah,
So he was
shipping,
just-
receiving. I've done sales,
totally
I've done,
wasting his
customer support, whatever. Like fixing printers left and right inside. It was
Yeah.
like
But then 2 weeks
getting internet
in,
connections working.
I think I was like, "Hey, we need this like part," and you're like, "Oh, I can draw this up in E-machine."
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so you
E-machine at
started
the time
drawing. You
was
started
like,
drawing
yeah.
up some CAD parts. What was the first thing you did? Was it like the Delrin snub mount, or
It was.
there was like the 16 valve crank trigger kit?
It wasn't that complex. It was something even stupider.
There was
It
some
fuel
bushings
rail.
and-
I think it was a little fuel rail bracket or something we had.
Yeah. But we used to use this website. I think they're still around. Called
They are, yeah.
Machine.
No, they're still a prototype. It's like a small run manufacturer,
Yeah.
easy prototyping thing where they have their own kind of CAD interface. You draw stuff up on.
Yeah.
You can get it quoted out and bid out right away.
But that was incredible. And then I was like, oh, we've got someone on staff who can CAD stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I started doing all of
So I was like trying to find anyone to do that.
right. I was doing all of them. All of a sudden, I was doing all of the hardware design engineering. I also did mechanical engineering and drafting.
Yeah.
Actually, through my high school.
But you're just really good at just
Yeah, I
figuring,
just pick stuff up and
figuring things out. And,
Yeah.
and, you know, it's not.
I get hard headed.
In 07, I bought a CNC machine, and I was like, here you go, Nate.
And then I learned how to run
It's all
CNC
yours.
machines here. Yeah.
And you
so-
learned like in 2 weeks you had programmed a Haas CNC, and you were running parts on
Yep.
it. You know, it's just insane.
Yep. So it kind of kickstarted
Yeah.
our CNC department here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't scale, so
No,
we ended up with other people running
Yeah.
it and growing that. But
But we've done a good job of, I think I've done a job of pushing you.
oh yeah,
to do more.
yeah,
And
absolutely, definitely.
and
There's
then
not a lot of
you've-
comfort zone.
you've-
I'm always pushing into the next thing.
I'm like, no, you can do this. I
Right.
know you're a smart guy. And then you do it. You push yourself, and then like you said, we hand it off to other staff,
Yep.
and so you've really helped. We've worked really well together to just build the business over the last 15 plus years.
Yep.
It's been
yeah.
incredible working relationship.
Yep. Yeah, I was doing
done lots
pretty
of
much all the hardware design for a while now. Thankfully, we've got a team of great guys doing.
You
that.
don't do anything.
I don't
with
do anything hardware.
You're
I don't do
completely
any
out
hardware
of it.
design.
Yeah.
Now I'm all software.
And you've handed off like at least half of your software duties as well.
Yeah. No. Now I get to focus back. I'm full circle now back into the embedded stuff. So I'm doing a lot more reverse engineering and digging into that stuff. So
Yeah. And then the next step is to redesign our clothing line.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. As to be more hypey.
I bought some new scissors.
Yeah. Well, cool. I think we're out of time.
Yeah, I think we can wrap that up.
we could talk for days about Nate.
Yeah, I've been here since 2005. So
In 5 started. So. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And this was fun to get to introduce
Yeah.
some of the staff. We should maybe do this with
Yeah,
other
maybe we'll do
departments.
some different
as well.
departments.
We
Yeah.
can do hardware engineering, sales and customer service. Frank, I mean, honestly, there's like really great, amazing,
we have
interesting
such
people.
a good team, or just all over the building.
Marketing's not very exciting, but all the other departments
The other
are
guys are
super
great.
exciting. So, no, that's what makes 034 Motorsport great is all the staff
Yeah,
here.
and everyone here is super passionate about the same thing all of you guys are. So
we
all live and breathe it.
We make sure of it. We don't want just. We need that passion, that interest, that drive
Yep.
to be the best. So that's what we do. All right.